be on good behavior now.
Good, good. You should, as always.
Please don't,
Yeah,
please don't.
yeah. That would just make it boring. But well, guys, welcome to the second seminar of urban living that we're organizing on our usual Tech Friday afternoons, and it's a pleasure to host my young sibling as today to talk to us about active cities and healthy cities. I prepared a short presentation for us that pretty much touch on a few of the subject that he's been raising on the preliminary seminars that we did unofficially that prepare these sessions, and let's make it a more active one than the first one where everybody was a little bit shy. And if you have things that you'd like to ask or comment, and you don't want to do it in English for some reason, well, you're always welcome to do it in Portuguese. We'll try to translate to anyone that requires. Well, Paola's just joined us. Welcome, Paola. And
Thank you. Sorry, I'm here. I'm still finishing my previous meeting, but I'll join shortly.
oh, no problem, no problem. We're just about to start, and so is Rui as well. So we have a full house. Gabriel, I think you can share your presentation if you want to, and let's start.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for this opportunity. Thanks, of course, to SEO and to Ricardo. Like he said, we are brothers. At least that's what my mother said to me a few years ago, and I have to deal with it. So it's not easy, but it's bearable. It's bearable.
I'm almost muting you right now, but okay.
Um, so thank you for this opportunity. Like I was saying, especially because it gave me something that I didn't felt in a few days, months, maybe years. It made me motivated to have to search again some issues, this issue, this theme, the active cities that I will talk about. We all know a little bit about active cities, but truly know what is an active city, at least for me. It was a little bit of a gray area. So I had to make a little bit of research, not a little bit. I made a lot of research about active cities, and I took some notes that I will share with you, and hopefully you will enjoy. I tried. I'm not from your area. I'm not an architect. I'm a sports manager. Um, I've been sports manager since when I ended my degree. I wanted to start. I started working in University of Minho. Then, after a few years, a few long years, 20 years, I had the opportunity to work in a city hall here in Braga. I've become for 3 years the head of the sports department of the Braga municipality. And now I have returned again to University of Minho. And during these last years, I have worked with different perspectives of physical activity and sports managing. And sports managing, it's a huge area, and one of the items of sports managing is of course the facilities managing. So it's a little bit of that I'm going to talk about, not about facilities managing, but about facilities and active living, healthy living, and how does your line of work, architectures and urban designers, can help to change some of the problems that our society and the world is passing now. For instance, with this pandemic issue that we are living now, we have to rethink the way that we build our cities and our urban territory, because it's a public health issue. So I will start to share my presentation, and anytime that any of you have a question, please do it. I will try to answer it. If I can't answer it, I will look then what to say to you and try to answer it later on.
Fantastic, great. Just one real quick thing. If people are comfortable in speaking in Portuguese, please, that's fine. As much as I think I'm the only English speaker only here, so but if there's something that needs to be said in Portuguese, that's fine.
For me, it's fine to speak in English. Maybe some words I will have to say it in Portuguese, but I have here opened the Google Translator, so if I have a problem, I will type it in Portuguese and I will say it in English then. So we will start. I will start the presentation, and hopefully you will enjoy it. So, like I was saying, we are talking about active cities, and I truly didn't know the meaning of what is an active city. So the first thing I did, it was to search the significance of active city.
Which is kind of funny, considering that that's your line of work for a long time.
No, not really. It's not my line of work for a long time. My line of work, it's physical activity, sports managing, and we are talking now here for a little bit more wide perspective way to look. I never manage a city. I manage a sports service from a city, but never manage a city, or in this way that I will talk here. I have never.
Yeah, it's such a broader scale as the scope of the discussion today. Yeah.
So I went to Google, of course, and I wrote. I tried to look for what is an active city, and funny as it seems, nothing came up. And so I had to go a little bit further. So I started to call some friends of mine, some people that work in my line of area, asking if they have any definition about what is an active city, and they started to send me some presentations that they heard here or there. I started to be present in some presentations, including WHO presentations, the United Nations presentations, and then I started to join some ideas. In the one of the ideas that I was particularly fond of, it was this one of Juan Murua. It's a Spanish guy, and he's really an expert in active design. And he says that an active city is a city that continuously creates and improves opportunities for physical activity in social and built environments, and that expands the resources of the community in order to allow all its citizens to be physically active in their daily life. So I enjoyed this this definition, but also started to when I went to Google, when I write it, when I type it, active city, most of the answers that I had was not of active city, but was of healthy city. That's why I put these two terms together, active and healthy cities. And of course, if Google send me this information, I started to read, and I started to find out that healthy and active truly were connected. They have an important combined issue in this thing. So I started to take some notes, and this is what I've seen. This is a little framework about what we will speak later. Healthy city is a term used in public health and urban design to stress the impact of policy on human health. It's a municipality that continually improves on a physical and social level until environmental and pathological conditions are reached, establishing an acceptable morbidity rate for the population. So you can see I put it some lines in bold due to the theme. So active city and healthy city, they have something in common, and that is urban design, physical activity, social and built environments. So we cannot separate these two terms. We know that for be active, we need to be healthy, and to be healthy, we need to be active. So in one of my researches, I came across some publishings about urban and territorial planning. I will mention it later, which one. I think I have already shared it with Ricardo, and then he can send it to you. In the United Nations page, in the UN Habitat, there's a guidance publication about healthy environment and healthy and active cities, which I took these phrases. Urban and territorial planning, UTP, is a critical enabler for health and well-being in cities and regions. Planning and urban policies has a central role in the prevention of diseases, as they define the quality of spaces we use, the way we move, and also the treatment of diseases through adequate access to healthcare for all. Continuing, planning decisions can...
Gabriel, no, there's no need to read through the slides, because as you're talking through it, we already read it.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Otherwise, because it becomes like a class, and there's...
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
So the common, what I saw is that the common area in thinking about urban living with active and healthy terms associate, they all came to the same conclusion. Planning and designing, it's in the center of the decisions. So without a good planning, without good planning decisions, without good decisions in urban territorial planning, we cannot build, or we cannot grow an active and healthy city. Then I also saw that, and I will present this also later, that placing health and well-being, like in this second paragraph, at the center of planning, we come into a new idea that is coming in these last years. the UN, United Nations, are discussing some sustainable development goals.
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard about it. I believe so. And these goals must be also inserted in planning urban, territorial, or in active cities. We have here a small definition of what is health, and I put it here for one reason. Most of the times when we talk about health, we talk about infirmity of disease, and disease. It's not like this former WHO Director General said, health, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So we need to be physically health, mentally health, and socially health to be truly healthy. And we cannot achieve that without having good planning and good cities and cities that we can use to do our daily physical activity. This was a little frame of the theme, and now we are going to start to talk really about urban design. Creating an active city, and now that we know that urban and territorial planning has a huge importance to healthy and active lifestyle and design, it's imperative that we start to have some strategies for designing neighborhoods, streets, outdoor spaces that encourage active transportation and recreation, including walking and bicycling. We look at our cities. I look at my city, Braga. Some of you also know Braga, and it's very difficult. It's practically impossible to have a safe trip to our work by bicycle. We don't have any kind of facility specified to bicycles. The cars are going crazy around, and it's not safe. And if it's not safe for bicycle, it's not safe for people that are walking. It's not safe for people that are running, and it's not safe for anyone that likes to make outdoor activity. So creating an active city must have some issues that must be very well thinking, like this mixed land used in city neighborhoods. We need to improve access, not only to traffic, but also from pedestrians and bicycle riders, the access to public places like plazas and open spaces where we can do some recreational activity must be improved and well think. For us to do our daily stuff, like for instance full service groceries and stores, we also need to have good access, and like I said, we need to design good facilities for pedestrians, for bicycles, and places where people can rest, can drink water, where they can park their bicycles, where can they do their physical activities, the physical activities by their choice, in a safe condition. And by this we may manage to start reducing traffic, accidents, of course, to increase the well-being of the citizens of the city, and for that started to achieve that definition of health: healthy, physically, mindly, and with well-being. But cities are not only streets and sidewalks and parks, are also buildings. So we need to think when we are designing buildings, or if we're not designing buildings, if we are simply requalificate some buildings that, or some installations, whatever, that exist in the city, we must also think that we need to create opportunities there to people that are doing their daily life, can use those buildings not only for work or for access services. If I go to my place of work, and I know that there I have some showers, some locker rooms, a place where I can do some physical activity. If the stairs are wide and we give more importance to stairs than to elevators, if we have parking for bicycles and other ways of transport, skates and other ways of transportation, like I said. We also encourage people to use these facilities and buildings to rethink their way of living, and to start leaving their cars at home and go by bicycle, and because they know that they can easily do physical activity in their line of work. They take a backpack with some changing of clothing, and they pedal into their work, and there they can change their clothes and take a shower, of course. So we are talking about physical activity. Physical activity in cities. It's a way that people now, with this problem of public health, are using to maintain fit and to stress out their daily problems. So it's never a waste of time, let's say, to talk about physical activity key facts, the health benefits, preventing and managing non-communicable diseases, reduces symptoms of depression, enhances thinking, learning, ensures healthy growth, and improves overall well-being. All the terms that we saw in the definition of an active and an active city, active and healthy city. In my research, I went to see the Eurobarometer of sports and physical activity, and I saw some things that interested me. For instance, I didn't know that, and that's why I put it here. 40% of European population prefer parks and outdoors to be active. And this is important to know, because when you guys are planning an urban territory, a city, you must know why we are doing that, and if people will like that. And for what we can see here, yes, people will like that. Nowadays, almost everyone likes to go running, go cycling, go skating, go do some push-ups in the park, going to the mountain, and they will choose where they can go. So it's never a waste of time to explain the benefits of physical activity and sports. These benefits are increasingly promoted on a global scale, so it gives us the relevance, sorry, and the importance for the individual health and the economy of all countries. So it's important that we understand what people want when we are trying to when they ask us to design a city or a small space inside a city, because people now want and prefer to do some outdoor activity and not only indoor activity. And I put it here, and you got here the source where I went to search this, the benefits of outdoor sports. I put this in here because it has some ideas that we talked in those early conversations that we had on those Friday meetings. Of course, physical health, cardiovascular and condition and sun exposure, mental health, but activates citizenship. And that it's very important in nowadays that the population started to enjoy the city and to have a sensation of integration and inclusion in our cities. Environmental awareness, it's a daily problem. When we go to a walk, we see that our parks, our gardens, our buildings, our streets, they are not taken care of. We've got garbage, litter on the floor. It's not, and outdoor sports helps to have a perception of protection of our cities. Educational and lifelong learning about all this awareness that we must have. And this one very important for me, crime and antisocial behavior. If we provide, we as responsibles for the urban design, provide a good facility, in very good facilities in our cities, where people can feel safe to practice sports, and they can practice sports, because sometimes they just can't practice sports. They will live out, our youngsters will live out those crazy ideas of gangs and drugs and other stuff that lead to a life of crime and antisocial behavior. And this is, for me, this is one in a urban living and urban design perspective. This is one of the most important issues that we must look. Like I said, United Nations, and you know that, have a plan and develop these sustainable development goals, these 17 sustainable goals. Of course, we have to manage now, we have to manage these in all our activities, and designing an active city, we have to look at these goals and try to understand if physical activity and urban design fits in these sustainable development goals. So in this source that I put it down in the slide, I went there and I took a look one by one what they said, and I took 7 axes of action. Active lifestyle, lifestyle and health. We have the goal number 3, where it talks about good health and well-being, physical activity and education. It's very important, and that we understand. In my perspective, and maybe you don't have that perspective, but this is my area, so I have this perspective, that trying to educate those issues that I spoke in the slide before about crime behavior, awareness of the environment, and all stuff, can be done by physical activity. And if it's done in an outdoor space or in our line of work, in our building, even better. Physical education and environmental. From goal number 11 until goal number 15, all of these 5 goals have issues that are very that we can use in physical activity awareness. Equality in goal number 5. We have gender equality. It's a very important issue in nowadays, because we know that sometimes we made a study here in Braga in 2018. We were the European City of Sports in 2018, and we made a study about the impact of this year, and one of the conclusions that we took is that in a situation of not poverty, but when the families have problems, usually women are the first ones to give up from physical activity to take care of the family, and this is a cultural problem, and through physical activity we must start leveling these situations. Physical activity and social cohesions, number 1, number 2, and number 10 goal. Economic growth, of course, number 8 and number 9, and physical activity and governance, number 16 and number 17, because we may think everything we want, we may plan everything we want, but if the top decisions, the politicians, they don't feel like it, nothing is done. And this was the first part of the presentation. It's the most boring part of the presentation, so excuse me for that, but I needed to make this introduction for you to understand now what I will present, and this is really my, let's say, my line of work. And I put this first slide with this title: "What makes a space a special place?" Because in terms of sports managing, we have classification for our sports facilities: artificial, natural, indoor, outdoor, big, small, for competition, for show, for leisure, and so on. But all of them can be special. But for them to be special, we need to have this, and we identified these 4 areas to make these facilities really special. So we must promote sociability, we must promote accessibility, we must promote usability and activities, and we must promote comfort amid an image. Of course, we don't have to promote all these 4 areas in one only facility. If we can, top, it will be a top facility. But I will give you now some examples from these different areas that I've looked around the world, and I believe I've got good examples here. This was the most difficult part of when I was making the presentation, because when I started looking for special spaces, they come pouring down, and I couldn't put them all in here. So I choose a few ones, and hopefully you will like it. So in terms of accessibility, we need to have accessibility to rich spaces. A facility that it's not accessible, and accessible not only by car, and especially not by car, but by foot, by bicycle, by skateboard, by scooter. It's a facility that it's not special. It's equal to any other. A facility that promotes and gives more importance to these new types of access is really a special one. We need to have transparent buildings with continuity and connection through indoor and outdoor areas. So I choose this one. This is an international convention and exhibition center in China, and you can see this is the sport facility. This is the International Convention and Exhibition Center. This is the center, and this is an habitation area, and they have wide roads in here, but to access this facility, you can go by any mean of transportation that you want. I can try. This is. I can try to open here the page. Are you seeing the page?
Yes, it's opening. Yeah, we can see it.
Here you have a description of the convention center, and you can see on the rooftop of the sports area, they used it to build sports facilities, and one of the sports facilities, it's a trekking area and a bicycle area where you can walk around it before you go to the indoor space. You also have football pitches, and you have a fantastic view over the city. This is the view from inside the facility, with very large and open spaces. And this is you have the image in the slide, and this is the view, the section. You have indoor parking, of course, the indoor warehouses where they practice different sports in every single one of them. But you have also here a climbing wall running track, football fields, walking, bicycle, and running tracks, and you have access.
Is there information? Is there information of how many housing units are adjacent to this?
I really don't know, Sean, but
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. We can figure that out later. Yeah.
I can look for that later, and I will try
Yeah.
to tell you that.
Yeah.
It was
I'll keep looking here, Gabriel, and you can carry on. Don't worry about it. And if I find it, I'll send it to Sean.
okay.
I have the link here.
I choose this one due to this the location of the facility, the nearby the buildings, the habitational buildings nearby. An exhibition center, and this includes all that we need in our daily life. We have culture, we have sports, we have our home, and of course we have also outdoor spaces to relax, to do our physical activity, all in with very nice accesses. Moving on, of course, I had to bring this here. Cycling ways, bicycle paths, bicycle ways all around the world. This first one that you are seeing here is on Netherlands. They built it, it's suspended over a freeway, and you can see gives access to all the areas of the city. This one it's recently built. It's in China. It's
The green one on the right?
Yes, this
Mhm.
one,
Yeah.
this big one, this
Okay.
big one.
Yep.
It's built under, and it's suspended, and it's built under the train track, like you can see here, and it's built under. And this curve in here, they just did it to be fun. They just did it to be fun.
It's always a good reason.
Yes. It's the perfect reason, because physical activity must be fun.
Exactly.
If it's not fun, you won't do it for long. So it gives access from one point of the city to the other, and as I believe it has almost 10 kilometers. I don't know how it's in miles. 10 kilometers long.
Mhm.
This is also in Netherlands, and also connected. This was a demand from the population, because they didn't have the easy access through the river. So they built here a 6-kilometer bicycle way suspended over the river. This is the view. This one. Are you seeing my pointer here?
Yes.
This one is the same one here, and this is the
All
view
right.
over the city.
You know,
It's awful. Yes.
what I find, sorry, what I find really interesting is that, you know, obviously we all know that the Netherlands has a very strong bicycle culture.
Mhm.
It seems like in Portugal that's forming as well. You know, maybe more for recreation. But what's interesting about in Netherlands is that it's not just for leisure or for exercise, but it's also how people get around.
Mhm.
You know, I think that's one of the challenges in different countries is how do you build that? You know, and what I find interesting about these types of things, if you build this, people will start to use it. I have a feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. That's for sure. I started to taking an online course how to build a cycling way. It's free. I can, in the end of presentation, I can put it on the messenger, the link. It's free, and it's two guys from Netherlands, and they do that for a living. They build cycle paths and cycleways. So they decided to share their information, and they give an online course. free for anyone who wants it to do. It takes about 5 weeks if you do it 1 hour per day. I have to stop it now a little bit because I had to do this presentation and I have to work, and I'm a husband and a father, and I also have to take care of my brother. So so I stopped it a little bit, but I will continue. And one thing that they said there in that course, it's what you said now. Cycleways and cycle paths are not only for exercise; they are to move around. And an active city definition is that it's not just it's making a physical activity, but in our daily routine. If I go to work by bicycle and I pedal for about 5 to 10 kilometers, and if I do it both ways every day, I'll do 20 kilometers per day in bicycle. That's excellent activity. Excellent activity. The WHO says that for us to be physical active, we must do at least 150 minutes of physical activity per day, moderate to intense. And if we do 20 kilometers per day, if we do it by walking, if we do it by skate, I believe we are physically active. I believe, I don't believe, I know, it's my line of work, so I know. This one in here, where is the cursor? Oh, sorry, not yet, sorry. This one in here, this one in here.
Hi, sorry, before you move on from cycle lanes, I'm calling from Glasgow and I also deliver cycle lanes for a living. We are delivering a program of new infrastructure and active travel throughout the city center of Glasgow. We have 18 new, what we call avenues. So we are redesigning the streets of the city center of Glasgow, and we are dedicating more space to people, more space to active travel, and less space to cars.
Yes.
So, the comment I would give to the images that you're showing here is that our approach is to try to convert streets that at the moment are car dominated into streets that are people centered. And as such, we try to keep all the travel at the same level. So we have pedestrians, we have cyclists, and we have cars. And we shy away from providing infrastructure that goes overhead, because the separation of different kinds of travels brings problems in terms of safety in the street. Yeah, so that's my comment of the images that you're showing here.
No, thank you for your regards, but remarks. Sorry, Paula, isn't it Paula?
Paula, yes.
Yes, Paula. And it's true. The images that I'm showing here are the very special places, okay? But of course, if we already have a city built in Glasgow, Braga, Porto, Lisboa, Chicago, wherever, and we already have the streets, and we already have the sidewalks, and we have all the buildings and all the spaces already in place. We have to transform a mixed use street to build cycling lines, of course, cycling lanes, of course. These ones were built new and are special. Of course, they have space to put this kind of facility.
But it's probably something else, Gabriel. I mean, I completely agree with Paula. I mean, if we don't mingle the different types of traffic and locomotion on the street all at the same level, first of all, it's financially impossible to do it. But most importantly, that segregation definitely doesn't make anyone safe or effective. I think probably it shows these for impact in terms of how cute the images are, but they actually represent specific challenges and exceptions. I mean, The two top ones look like you're just crossing freeways, which is something that you can't really mix bicycles and cars at that level of speed at the same time.
Yeah.
And then down, the other one that you were showing, it's the Netherlands, where bicycles definitely occupy the streets as a priority instead of cars, but it's a crossing of a canal, so it's you're going over water. So
Yeah, but
yeah, I think it's more about the examples that you gave here, and the early mark. It's perfect in that regard. I mean, if we're talking accessibility and bicycle paths, yeah, I completely agree with that type
no,
of remark. Where they should be level, they should be at the street, and they should make a city, not just crossing over.
Impossible, and then it's impossible to do it otherwise in almost of the cities, because we don't have this kind of space that I'm showing on these images, of course.
Yeah, these are the exceptions, and how to cross. Yeah,
You have this one in here that I was showing now. This one is in Brazil. This one is in Brazil.
Really?
And they use that. They used. They have 3 car lanes in each side, and then they put it the walking and cycle lane on the middle. And I know, for instance, that in Lisbon they are doing this also in some big avenues, and maybe other cities in Portugal are starting to think about that. And in Facebook, I joined a page. It's the page. It's Ciclovia. It's
yeah.
Cycle paths, and they show new ones that exist and new ones that are being project and designed, and 99% of them are like Paula and you are saying, are on the level of the street, near the sidewalk, on the middle of an avenue, with the cars coming and going on both sides, but in the middle you've got the lane dedicated only to bicycles, and that's
Is that safe as well? I mean, I know that Brazil, they used to do a lot of this for public transportation down the center of avenues, and there was a moment in Portugal that Nuno Portas actually tried to do that on the connection between Porto and Gaia. It's just down the center of Gaia Avenue. They moved all of that before the tram was installed there. We had the buses. And to be very honest, it was a failure. I remember him defending that at university. I don't know if you remember this, Luis. He was defending this design at university, and how great it was because it was so much more efficient right through the center, as the cars could then have the freedom to go everywhere, or public transportation keeps on going straight. The fact is, it created a lot of issues until you were able to slow down traffic on the sides, because people were getting run by cars, running to the bus or running away from the bus.
That's one of the issues when you build a cycle lane, a cycle path, cycleway, whatever you call it. You have to reduce speed. You have to put some
form of something. Yeah, there's different strategies, but
or at least divided the lane from the cars to the lane of the bicycles with a small
with something. Yeah.
One thing I would have,
segregation is really important in terms of security. You're absolutely right, Gabriel. Unless you properly segregate with a physical division and
Exactly.
level of security, absolutely.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add to this, though, I've been seeing it here in the U.S., where people may be a little lazier. What I've been seeing now are people on these electric bikes, and you see them zipping around, and they go farther, obviously, and people have to pedal less. Some people are using it for commuting, but some people are even using it for leisure, right? So I've seen a lot of elderly people riding these. So they are pedaling at times, but a lot of times they're not pedaling. The issue with those is that they go faster than the regular bikes, especially on hills. So I'm wondering if, down the line, there's, not to make this more complicated, so there's a third lane, but there needs to be some understanding that these are going to become more prevalent in the cities as both for leisure as well as people getting around.
It's
So-
true. They are. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they are. And but
Yeah, say Paolo. I'm sorry, we interrupted you.
I mean, Sean, yes, you're spot on. It's a great area it's a gray area in the policy. In the UK, electric scooters have just been approved, and for the time being, they can only go on cycle lanes and they cannot go on roads. There's also the issue that they don't have a plaque, so they don't have a registration number, they don't have insurance. So you are entering a gray area because it's not a vehicle, but it's not a bicycle either. So I think that policy will have to intervene on that particular issue.
Yeah. Same thing here. I mean, Braga is pretty hilly, so it has never been very bike friendly, and the city had never invested in the past in terms of real bicycle lanes, and I believe pretty much because of that. But with the introduction of electric scooters here at the city center and the electric bicycles all around, I mean, all of a sudden everybody can climb the hill all the way to Bom Jesus, and you know, as if they were fit. I've told that even myself with one of those things would be able to do it. Probably not humiliating myself in that way anytime soon, but it's creating those issues. It's creating those gray areas. Here it was the opposite. Because we don't have bicycle lanes, people have to use them in the street as any other vehicle. And you're right. I mean, they don't have a registration. There's no insurance. There's still no policy. But the city, for instance, has invested into a program for the electric scooter renting type of situation. So they created all of these parking areas for the scooters as they are trying to encourage people to move in other ways other than cars. And it's been a mixed reaction. I guess it's still one of those ongoing things that the society and cities are trying to adapt and understand what are the real consequences in the end.
True. It's funny here where I live, they're starting to build a cycle lane, and I get the most varied reactions. I have some people that say, oh no, they should be enlarging the car lanes because the problem was that the cars were not moving well enough. Why are now they're doing? And yeah, and other people, of course, they are very impressed by this idea and why it should be increased. And because there is, of course, here it's close to the beach. Why it does not go to the beach? We don't have a connection. We are like 5 kilometers from the beach, and we cannot go. We cannot go to the beach by bike because there's just this small road and very dangerous. And these kind of obvious things, they were not done still. Yeah, but I think it's like an awareness. Everybody gets this awareness, and as they get aware, they get also aware that it's possible that a bike is somehow present on this close by, and people go a little bit, they go slower, so that they are aware that they cannot go so fast because there are people in different speeds and this takes a little bit of time. But obviously, this is the direction to go. I mean, it's
yes, but
yeah.
The idea.
These look awesome, by the way, Paula.
Yes.
That's what you guys are doing in Glasgow, right?
Yep, that's the pilot for our first avenue, and we are delivering 18 more, I believe, of these in the city center.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
But this is the idea. This is the idea.
And I love this segregation. I mean, and even being used as the bike parking informally.
But you know, we in Braga have not a small but a very big problem. We have a lot of tunnels.
You have a lot of
tunnels? Underpasses.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
And for bike lanes, it's you can't put a bike lane. But
no, it's great. You just go over the tunnel. You use the surface and let the cars use the tunnel.
Yeah, we have underpasses here too, with cycle lanes going in the underpass.
But the idea to build, for me, the idea to build a bike lane is to reduce traffic. So we need to cut cars lanes, and to go over our tunnels here in Braga, you only have one car lane. So if you cut it,
all right, you don't have enough width in the. You don't have enough.
We will have to cut on the sidewalk. For sure, we will have to cut on the side. But the sidewalks, they are reasonably big, but
Yeah. Gabriel, one thing to think of, all of us to think of actually, is that in more urban city areas, there's been a philosophy that you want to make it harder for people to drive, right? You want traffic to slow down in a retail district and so forth.
yes.
Part of that also, the philosophy is that you make it a little harder to drive. People will spend less time driving and will look to be in a more pedestrian mode or bicycle mode. So I think that's really important that, sometimes your car has to be compromised. Something has to be compromised. So sometimes compromising the car, if it's a policy for the city or for the developer to create more pedestrian or more or more alternative transit, it's important that the car doesn't always take the precedence.
Yeah,
That's
we are
really,
looking at a 40% reduction in traffic because of the infrastructure that you've just seen. So absolutely. And it has to be a decision taken at city level. You can't just model it and say, oh, can I still fit the same amount of cars in less space? It has to be a decision taking at political level where you want to deliver an active city.
and also it's a financial decision too, because I mean, like London, when you start taxing cars being in downtown, it changes the mentality pretty quickly, which is
yeah, that's effective indeed. We also have a low emission zone that is becoming effective now.
Yeah, the idea is to start really showing that going by bicycle is faster than going by car because of the traffic, and if we sell this idea and the car drivers start to look to the bicycle lanes and start seeing that they are passing them and they can flow easily and reach their objective, work, house, grocery, 10, 15, 20 minutes earlier than if you go by car, then they will start leaving the cars. And you have to reduce, it's like Paula said and like Sean said, we have to reduce the traffic. So you need to cut in the streets. You need to cut.
Lead by example.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can carry on. I interrupted your presentation to share this link that Paula sent us, but because I think it was really important to see that image.
Okay, so we're done with accessibility, and now let's talk about sociability. We need to promote in our facilities, in our cities, we need to promote, like we said, we need to promote social cohesion, very different types of offering in the same place. What we used to see is that facility is only for soccer, that one is only for basketball, that is only for bicycle or skates. And we need to start mixing and start bringing entire families, because little kid wants to enjoy there, but then the mama needs to go buy some grocery, and the father wants to see the game that is on TV. And I choose this facility, this clubhouse in Rotterdam, because it has all that. If you can see, you've got two football pitches on the sidewalk, on the side of the building, sorry, and the building has a huge variety of offers. One thing that I saw here that it was amazing is that the rooftop are the balconies to see the football games. If you can see down here, these are the balconies in here. In here you have some services for the family. You have fitness areas for mama and dad. You have a restaurant and other facilities that I'm not remembering. I will not waste a lot of time in this one because the next one it's truly better. But this is a good idea I don't know, in a suburban area to have a clubhouse where families can gather, can enjoy themselves playing some random football or other activity, but also have a place to hang out, to take a coffee, drink a beer, meet their friends, and so on. And this one, next one, in Melbourne, Australia. This is a huge area, a line area under the railway tracks that were not used. They were abandoned fields. So what they did was to build several islands under the
Railroad.
railroad. Sorry.
It's a tongue twister, don't worry.
And it's open to the community. Although you can see here some nets, it's open. Okay, these are for safety of the cars. The ball bounces to the road. Some kid can go chase the ball, and accidents happen. So these barriers here are only for protection, because the space is really open, and they have for conventional sports, basketball, football, handball, volleyball, but they have also for other not conventional sports. In here, functional workout, street workout. Here some leisure activities. All the places have benches so that you can sit and just relax watching your kids or your father playing, your mother, sorry, playing with their friends. Here kids can play. They have all kinds of equipments. In here some table tennis equipment. Here's some bars so that when they can hang out, some interesting climbing objects here so they can climb. And it's all, like we were talking earlier in the last slide, it's all I'm lacking the word in English, sorry. You have a bicycle lane going all the way through you can see it here, through the areas. So you can go by bicycle, you can go by skate, you can go walking. You have the sign here to say slow down. You have here the lines that will make your bicycle or your skate or your scooter tremble a little bit, so you will have to brake because you are getting near an entertainment and a leisure area. This one, it's a very interesting one. This is for you that you don't know. This is a sound barrier near, again, railroad area, and the city need to the inhabitants of these buildings here were complaining about noise. So they built this sound barrier, and they use it to build this fantastic leisure area in Germany. This is in Album. I'm opening here so you can see it better. So you see here the railroad, and this is the area. You have slides, you have climbing area, you have bicycle lanes, you have here a very fun area where you can climb, but with the nets and ropes, all very safety. See, this is the area. You have here the remarks, who did it, who is the client, the office, the cost. So if you want to know, this is the look from the other side of the river. It's also a very good idea to use a place that usually it's not used for anything. You put the barrier, the sound barrier, the sound, it doesn't pass. It's great. You don't need to do anything more. But it's a wrong idea. You can do something. You can do a playing area for the population to use it, and it's fun, and it avoids used by some not very good persons, gangs, graffitiing, and other activities that are not so welcome. And I've got this little presentation here in YouTube. This is a project in Thailand. It's an architect office that invented this idea. They made it a project, and I find it. It's a 2-minute video. I will pass it if it's okay. I don't know if you know it.
No, yeah, this one is fun. Just show it.
Okay.
We will need to speed up then some other slides,
Okay.
but I think this is a nice one to see.
All right. It's opening.
ภาพสนามบอลแปลกๆอันนี้อยู่ย่านคลองเตยท่านผู้ชมฮะเป็นสนามฟุตบอลรูปตัว L นะฮะแต่ว่าเวลาที่เขาไม่มีพื้นที่แบบนี้เนี่ยสิ่งที่เราจะเห็นเลยเขาจะกลับมาอยู่กับตัวเองและอาจจะเริ่มอยู่กับอะไรที่เขาสนใจเฉพาะมากๆซึ่งมีโอกาสที่จะมีปัญหาตามมาได้วัยรุ่นในชุมชนแออัดก็ต้องการพื้นที่ที่จะแสดงออกอย่างสร้างสรรค์เหมือนวัยรุ่นทุกๆคนแต่พื้นที่ที่เขาอยู่อาศัยกลับไม่เอื้ออำนวยไม่มีเชฟไม่มีรูปทรง
And there it is. That's the finest example of what it means, socialization and usage of public area to bring people to the street to do physical activity. They knew that the young kids and the youth in Thailand loves not sports but football, so they used those small areas, those unusual, like it says like in here, those unusual areas to build football fields, and they started to come out to the streets to play football during the winter, during the summer, during the spring. It's an excellent idea, and I had to show it. I had to show it. So continuing, use and activities. So we were talking about buildings. Okay, cities already have buildings. Some of them that they are not used, some of them they are used only for that purpose. But we can, when we design buildings, new buildings, or we are requalification new buildings, we can think a little bit further, a little bit outside the box. You have this,
or on top of it, apparently.
yes, on top of it. But people think that this facility, this is a
it's a thermal central. It produces energy. Most of us know this because the architect is quite famous.
Okay, and you have this huge ski lane. You can walk through it. You can do lots of things. But what I didn't not do, and when I was searching for it, I found out this in here, in this area. On the other side, you can see it in here. It's a climbing wall. It's the world's biggest artificial climbing wall. It's on this wall in here. It's on this wall in here, and it's for public use. Of course, you need to know how to climb. You need to have the right materials, the right equipment, but it's for public use. This is an excellent example. Then you have the cities. You have the big agglomerate of city buildings, and you have the patios. And this is an excellent idea to bring life to a plaza on the middle of some building. This is also in China. This is they call it this one Pixland activity zone. You can see why, and I can tell you very quickly that these large areas of 5 to 5 dimension are the playing areas. The ones that you see with small squares that build a 5 to 5 area, but with small squares, it's where they can access the playing areas. Because from the top, this seems to be a flat area, but it's not really a flat area. It has some different heights. And you can see here the slides, the stairs, some swing in here, some benches and tables made it just like pixels. And this is for all ages. This is not only for young kids.
Yeah, Gabriel, it's interesting you mentioned about all ages. I mean, that I think that's one of the keys about public spaces. It's sort of different generations are able to be attracted to it. I was looking at this earlier when you showed this to me last week, I think it was. There's also other examples that could be part of this type of approach. You've seen the one where they have the piano on the stairs, yeah, or the seesaws for the adults, or the swings that make music. So it's interesting that you can make things fun for adults. Like all adults want to be kids again. So it'd be interesting that the dimension of this includes also things that adults can be kids again. I think that's
this one it's not the one that I showed you last week. This one, it was a new one that I found, and the one that I showed you last week, it was more dedicated to kids. It has the swings and those baskets where they can hold on and just go around the merry-go-round. But this one, it's really thought for the families that habitate in this building can come here to with their families. I put this example here because you have here two grown women just sitting down, going around and talking. You have this, I don't know how old she is, but she seems a little bit older than a young kid, and it seems like a teenager, just humping around in this trampoline. So I put this one here because it showed, it seemed to me that the different ages were represented here. But it's right what you said. It's right. Public areas and to attract different people, we must think. We must develop and design areas outside of what we usually put, the swings, the little horses. Those are for kids. This one, it seems a very good example that you can have kids and that you can have grown-ups here hanging around and just enjoying. Comfort and image. We have a landscape. It was, you can see here, it's not used all, they didn't use all the area. They used this small area here. This is an island in Hamburg. They built a bridge and they just put it here, a different park. You can see here by the images that you can do your sports, but you can come here with your family and have some sand areas where you can play with your kids. If you have kids a little bit older, they can go here play football, and you can go play football or play basketball, or mamas can just hang around talking. This is not only mamas and some kids, but this is a family area that you can go by foot and just enjoy the good weather and the landscape that you have here. It's in terms of stimulation and enhancement of neighborhood, this seemed to me a very good example. This also, it seems a wonderful example, a little bit more dedicated to sports, not to physical activity, but also to physical activity. This is an athletics exploration. It's inside an university campus. And I can tell you that we tried to sell this idea, we tried to build something like this here at University of Minho. We've got a space there. When you enter the campus, you have a huge area, a green area in front of University of Minho, and we tried to make something like this, but the director and the vice rectors, they didn't enjoy it so much. So okay, we back down. But this, although this is inside a university campus, you can see here that it's accessible to anyone. So they have some hours that it's dedicated only to their athletics teams, but most of the time you can come here, you can enjoy, you can do your physical activity. You have here some playgrounds with the different equipments. I'm trying to go a little bit faster, but let me try to show you just for you guys to see. some play areas that they have here. See, this is the view from the top. It's perfect, and this is an athletic team practicing, okay? But then you can use it, of course. See, now you can see some random guys just using it to practice or to do some physical activity, always accessible by bicycle, because this is a university campus, and you have some playground areas that are fun to just to go around. This one, it seems like a ski area where you can go running and just grab and go around and go around. It's a fun place to be. And it's a fine idea if you have a park in the middle of the city, just to build not only a football pitch and basketball court and all those areas, just something different where you can practice and have some physical activity. This
Well,
one in here.
If you take the project in Thailand, what's interesting about that is that it's sort of irregular spaces, right? It doesn't have to always fit.
You have this example here, although this is an artificial field, okay? This is in Malmo, Sweden. This was a park that practically no one went there. It's a huge park in Sweden, in Malmo, and people didn't like to go there. So what they thought, let's do something different there, and they built this football, unusual football field, all in waves with these goalies in here, and you can see the result. It's this. Kids love it. I try to find another example, because I know there's another place where they did this, but with a basketball field also, and the baskets are all twisted, and everybody loves it, and just a different idea, and you can see small kids, adults, young persons, everybody wants to play there. Because why? Because it's different, it's fun, and that's what we want in our free times. This is in Lexington, and this is a great idea. This is some areas in the suburbs of Lexington, and they had a problem with crime, with some social problems there. And what did they do? In the summer, it was so hot that they built these equipments. These equipments are portable, with some reservoirs of water, and every time that you step on it, water starts to come out. And this for kids, when you are hot, it's crazy. So mamas, daddies, grandpas, grandmothers went there with their children, and everybody enjoyed, and fathers enjoyed seeing their kids playing in the water. They are over there on shade. And if you near this, you build a small area for coffee, for drink some water. You can have it all. You can have the kids playing. You can have the fathers and the mothers hanging around, and you rehabilitate an area. This is the idea in Lexington. It was the rehabilitation of this area. This one, I could not put the image, so I put the magazine from Yax, but I will show you here, and I believe we are almost done. I will show you here now in terms of buildings. some ideas for urban spaces activated. This one here, the first one, it's in New York City, near the river. They activated this. This was unusual, an area that didn't have so much usage. It was bad frequented. They rehabilitated its garden, and it looks like this during the night, during the day like this, bicycle lanes, and it's great. But this one, the one that I want to show you, this is still the same area. It's fantastic. You can all see this in the YACS website. But the one that I want really to show is this one. This is in Brazil, in São Paulo. Everybody knows that São Paulo is one of the biggest cities in Brazil with millions of population, and with you can see by the image that there is no public space. So what did they do? They had an abandoned building, and they made a sports and cultural center, and it's amazing. At the different levels of the building, they just put it diners, rest areas with a little water. It's a little water. Ricardo, ajuda-me, é espelho d'água.
Water features.
Yes, water features. Okay. Some areas between the not on ground, but between the building. We talked about this in a Tech Friday that we had. Use in the middle of the building a common area for people to just to hang out or to do physical activity. Some fitness areas, and on this place here, it used to be the garage, and they made it a place for spectacles.
An auditorium. Yeah,
an auditorium. See it here. Okay, this is the schematics of the building, and when I look at this is the rooftop, a big swimming pool. You have here the water lanes for swimming. You have here a class of gymnastics, and you have here some random guys just. It's São Paulo, Brazil, so it's hot, so they are just hanging there, enjoying the freshness of the water. And this is in the middle of São Paulo. It's an entire building dedicated to this. We don't need to dedicate this to one building, but this idea, some of these ideas can be used in the new buildings that you may design or may requalificate. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And to finish, this is a new idea that is showing now. It's called urban acupuncture. So what is urban acupuncture? It's just to look into the urban area, the city, the territory, and to find places where we can make a difference. Okay. Of course, I'm thinking in my area, active cities, healthy cities, use public spaces, squares, just make them more appealing for people to go there to practice. In conclusion, urban acupuncture, it's learn and study the city. You understand me? We need to look to the city, we need to study it, and then we need to rethink it. When we are increasing the city, we must know what to build there. But in the middle, where the city is already built, we must look for the places that we can use the squares, the buildings, the rooftops, the garages, the balconies. You are the experts, not me. I'm the guy that goes there to do some activity and put the guys to do some activity. You are the guys to design it. And the urban acupuncture, this is mostly the idea. We need to have context, we need to have objectives, elements, approach, deployment, and then we'll have the outcome. And then restart all over again, of course, because like I said, in the first slide, an active city project, it's a process, it's not a result. It's never a result. We never finish an active city. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope that I wasn't too dull. Ricardo, podes retirar. You can.
O que é que queres?
Podes sair da tela partilhada, que eu já...
Não, basta, é tudo do teu lado. Chegas ali e dizes que não. Stop sharing. É isso.
Okay. Sorry.
Did the woman from Scotland drop off?
Yeah, she had to go. She apologized, sent me a message. She really enjoyed, and we're keeping in touch. She's
Okay.
also saying that if we want to reach out to her, we can have her contact.
Yeah.
And there was another person with her. I think that she was the one that brought her as well. That was with her left at the same time.
So unfortunately, because I wanted to get her viewpoint on terms of public policy side, because I think, thank you very much, Gabriel, for showing this. It's inspiring. I think, from design solutions, there's a multitude of things, as creative designers can do, both landscape architects and architects can do. I think that's not in question. I think the bigger question is just how to influence public policy, dealing with governments in different locations, but also dealing with developers so that they understand the value of this. I think you touched on it earlier. Obviously there's anecdotal evidence. There's actually scientific evidence, I'm sure, that proves that there's a need for more healthier lifestyles in urban settings. There's no doubt of that. I think one thing that would help the presentation of this is having more definitive studies, which I'm sure are out there, that actually show the benefits. For instance, in each country, it's a little bit different, the health needs, but in the Middle East, there's a huge issue with diabetes. And we try to make this argument to some of our clients out there that exercise, just being able to walk half an hour a day, would reduce the amount of diabetes conditions, or reduce the severity of it greatly, just by having people walk half an hour a day. So, that type of, I think, evidence or approach would be important. I think the other part would be important to understand is there's social benefits, right? There's the whole socialization piece, which we talked to you about this earlier. We're trying to do in Chicago. How can we prove that these types of spaces improve social outcomes? So I'll leave it at that, but I think that's one of the elements that I'd be interested in more research on to sort of help us build these cases for our clients.
Yeah, when I researched it for the presentation, the page where I spent it more time was World Health Organization page. And there you can find lots of studies and they are divided through all countries. I didn't found any place there that we can saw the full studies that they did about obesity, about cardiac problems, respiratory problems, asthma, and all the other problems. But there are studies all around the world. You just need to look them. I know I have it here in my computer, the last report for Portugal about. Let me just see about. I cannot find it now, but I have it. I have it here. Oh, it's the national program for promoting physical activity, and I have it here. And this study is it talks about all these health problems and what should we do to, and what programs does exist that we can promote in our cities to fight these health problems. I believe that in almost cities we should have this, or countries at least, we should have this kind of studies. That's why when I ended my presentation and with this new idea of urban acupuncture, I put it in the last slide, and the first topic, and I talked that with my brother after the last meeting with Yushan. I said to my brother, I need to know the context. Okay, we need to know what's happening there, what do they do, which people live there, the places, the problems, so that we need to really to study. And this is
So, Sean, in our server under standards, if you go on admin standards and, well, if you go on urban planning, there's quite a few interesting material about streets for walking, etc. But there's one, these active design guidelines. They were issued by quite recently by Bloomberg in New York. And it's a really interesting document that we have in our server about urban design and creating active cities. It has a lot of talk about evidence-based design in terms of designing an active city as well.
Fantastic. I should show this to our Chicago client.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, New York is already issuing these type of documents. I mean, 144 pages long. And yeah, a lot of demographic studies and etc. that you can actually use as a base for the presentations that we have with Chicago, because they're American based, and so a lot of the stuff that Gabriel was talking about, it's here in some of them in depth.
Yeah, and actually you just went over something that I put on my notes as we were going through the lecture, the idea of the healthy food piece. You know, part of what I think would be interesting is this inclusion of healthy food. Yeah. Because people walking somewhere, but also integrating that high idea of healthy food is important. And another piece that's also people really doing a lot of these days is the idea of urban farming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have healthy food and urban farming.
Sorry to interrupt. When I was doing my research, I found out several seminars and workshops held by WHO. And I signed up in a few of them. And one of them, sorry, my kids came home. And one of them was about this document that my brother is showing.
Yeah, this is probably the best source. So actually, a lot of the other documents were found because their resource is mentioned on the source book here from UN Habitat.
But I will share with my brother.
By the way, I sent to all of you guys a PDF version of the presentation. And the links that Gabriel was using to pop up stuff are there. In the past, I have shared also some of these documents that I'm showing now with the group. So, but if you guys want more access, etc., just let us know.
Yeah, you can go to.
By the way, I'm gonna stop the recording anyway now.
Yeah.